5, and I'm still saying share on sheet 4. Um, but anyway, but I wanted the Inyanim share. So that's what we'll do now. All of you have not been hearing the Inyanim share for the past several weeks, but throughout Sefer Vayikra, I have tried to somehow or another kill two birds with one stone, and that is speak about the Parshas HaShavua and also speak about some kind of shilas benegeh, the coronavirus. And as the expression goes, this damnu lepundach echad, the two things have come into the same motel. So huadin, this is a sugya that's negea directly to Parshas Emor, but it's also negea to the coronavirus. The pasuk says in Parshas Emor, "V'chisiz b'chu zevach todah Hashem l'yitzaynchem tisbachuhu b'yom hu ye'achel l'sasir imenu ad baiker." There's a din of a korban todah, and the halacha is that a korban todah has to be brought and it has to be eaten b'yom hu ye'achel l'sasir imenu ad baiker. So the halacha is, so Rashi over here actually tells us on here, why does the Torah have to repeat Parshas Todah, the Korban Todah, over here in Parshas Emor? We already talked about this in Parshas Tzav. So Rashi gives several perushim, but one of the things he says is that you would think that Vibalt over here, Korban Todah, is only nechal l'yom echad v'layla achas, as opposed to a regular shlomim that's nechal l'shnei yomim v'layla echad. Therefore, I would think perhaps that over here the din of nice doesn't apply. Kamash malad, but no, even though it's only yom echad v'layla echad, nevertheless you have to go ahead and you have to eat bismanai. Now, the Rosh Rabbi say in Perek Tes Milchus Masechta Brachas Halacha Tes Halacha Gimel writes, Shebrachadu nisakna keneged korban todah, which means birchas hagomel, which a person has to make, as you know, Rabbi say, arba chayav and lahaydes. There's 4 types of people that have to bring a korban todah or a birchas hagomel, and they are yardei hayom, person on sea voyage, holchem midbariyos, go to the desert, chaylash and isrape, and Chovish Beveis Vasurim. Does anybody know the remez of how we know those 4 have to go ahead and bench Hagomel? Anybody know the remez? Speak up now. Anybody?
Oh,
Mr. Katan. Chaim is Rashi Tevis Chovish, right? Yardei Hayom, Chalash and Isrape, and Holchem Midbar. Very good. So the Rosh says that Birchas Hagomel was Mesukin Keneged these korban todah. Now the truth of the matter is, Rabbi Isai, it's not limited to these 4 people. If a person was a chas v'sholom in a bad accident, then he has to bench Hagomel or any type of thing like that. Anytime there's a person was in a danger, and he fell and he's been saved, he makes birchas hagomel. So that's the connection to the parsha korban todah. Birchas hagomel is getting korban todah, but here's the shaila benegeh corona. This is a shaila that Rav Usher Weiss, the famous Paisek Yerushalayim Mechaber Sfarim, some we spoke out many a time. Here's the shaila that was b'mi shehechlim b'machlas corona hakosha. A person had corona. R'tzonei oz levarach birchas hagomel k'nei l'haylas l'shma hagadol yisbarach. The guy wants to bench gomel. Baruch Hashem, none of us, and I hope no one that you really know, has suffered from corona, but it's a horrible, horrible disease. Even if a person doesn't chas v'shalom die from it, but it really knocks a person for a very big loop. So the person had corona, he got better. He wants to then birchas hagomel, But as we'll soon learn, Rabbi Isai, that's a very important part of Hagomel. You have to make Hagomel in front of 10 people. Now can't get 10 people. He can't get a minyan because Biklal Chayves Habidud, because of the quarantine, because of social distancing. You can't go to a minyan. Haim yochel levarach kasher asar noshim mishtatfen in be'emtzaim technologiyim kasher kulam roina yisay v'shem eskayla. So here's the shaila. You need a minyan to ben birchas hagomel. He can't get a minyan. He's b'yechidus, he's b'bedidus. Can he go ahead and bench gomel in front of 10 people who are connected via Zoom, Google Meets, or whatever it may be? Which means they'll see him, they'll hear him, they'll bench hagomel, they'll all answer Misha Gmalcha Kol Tov Gmalcha Kol Tov Sela. Amen. What's the halacha? That Rabbi Isai is the corona aspect of this Shala Birchas Hagomel. But in order to answer this, Rabbi Isai, we're going to have to get into some of the pratim, the very important pratim about Birchas Hagomel. Now, the Rosh tells us that Birchas Hagomel is connected to the Korban Torah. But what I want to show you now, Rabbi Isai, is that there's a limit to that sustel, and which means it doesn't have to be exactly like Korban Torah, and there are halachas about Korban Torah that apply, but don't apply to Birchas Hagomel, and therefore it's not. Well, you have to look at Torah. Can you do this by a Torah? No, it's not that precise. It's mesukim keneged Korban Torah, but it's not a Korban Torah. Now, here's 3 examples thereof. The Chassam Sofer has a shaila in Orach Chaim Siman Nun Aleph. Interesting shaila. There was a Rav in Trieste. Okay, Trieste, Rabbi Isai, is in Italy, and he was Allah min Hayom l'Sholom, and he Baruch Hashem he was Yardei Hayom. Italy is surrounded by water. He had to take an ocean visit. He was a Rav in a Kehila. Ulitaise erev yakira kilose mechabde ater nesmu el emek habrachma lechula makom kadosh beis hakneses b'shir betupim v'mchaylais u'urim kimtul Hashem. So the Kehila, very nicely, had a Kabbalah's panim for their Rav who had just had an ocean voyage, which is a danger, and they came out with a brass band, betupim v'mchaylais, and they were mechaben him. They marched him into shul at night. And the Rav got up in shul in front of this whole oilam, levarach birchas hagomel, kedin oilam in hayom. Very good. What could be wrong? And there was a yid that, from the context of the Shaila Rabbi Isai, I come to the conclusion that this guy didn't like the Rav. Didn't like him at all. He was an antagonist, which is not something that's never happened in Jewish history. And this guy, what's surprising to me is the Chassam Sofer mentions who the guy is. Doesn't seem like a very nice guy, but okay, you're not going to get into Lashon Shor Shaila. What was his taina? V'omar shein levar birchas hagomel b'layla ki niskan b'makam zevach taida. What are you doing, making a birchas hagomel at night? Can't make a birchas hagomel at night. A korban Torah can't be brought at night. No korban can be brought at night. So what's tustu? What are you doing? That's number one. Number two, the second thing is, the minig Yisrael is that we make birchas hagomel by kriyas HaTorah. So this Rav, the Rav from Trieste, made it at night, made it shaloi b'birchas HaTorah, which he calls paras get it neged haminig. It was a pirza connected the minig Yisrael to make by Kriyas HaTorah. What are you doing? And for good measure, Rabbi Isai, he threw another thing at this Rav. And apparently this Rav was a Mesader get, and he took a nephew of his to sit on the Bezdin, and he said, what kind of business is it? You take a nephew to go ahead and to be on the Bezdin? So this guy laced into him. So he writes in the Chassam Sefer, did I do right or did I do wrong? Should I have made a Birchas HaGomel at night? Should I not have made it when it's not Kriyas HaTorah? Did I do right or did I do wrong? So the Chassam Sefer goes ahead and writes to back and he says to him, the emes is that if I would be in the same situation, my entire Kehillah would come out to greet me, take me into shul, and make a ganze mesiba with a band, etc., etc. Truth be told, I would have also made Birchas HaGomel. But the Chassam Sefer says, I would have done it with the following disclaimer. I would have said, you don't do things which raise eyebrows in public. And here the guy's making it at night, he's not making it by Sefer Torah. So Zochtach Sefer, I would have said, so I would have said, I would tell my shul, Duno Rabbaisai, this is a special dispensation. If you're mechaber me with coming out at night, this and that, and with tam kach, and therefore I would go, I'm making a birchas HaGomel, even though it's night, even though it's not by Kriyas HaTorah, even though that's not the minig, but because of this ma'ora, because of this special event, that's why I'm doing it. What I would have, this is what I would have done. Azay Zokti Chassam Sefer. But what I mean to point out is you can't bring a korban toida at night. The guy was right. But is it ma'akiv afilu b'di'evet? So the Chassam Sefer says no. So point number one is loy l'chol mili. Do we go ahead and prepare and compare Birchas HaGomel to korban toida? Point number two, the Maram Shik in Orach Chaim Siman Peiches, Mr. Gluck. Who was the Maram Shik?
Not sure. The Rav of Germany? And
it was in Hungary. Okay.
Hungary, close.
100 miles off. Okay. But anybody know who the Maram Shik was? Maram Shik was the Talmud Muvok of the Chassam Sefer. He carried on the tradition. So the Maram Shik writes over here and says he's mafalpul in his Rebbe's tshuva, and then he goes in and he says that there's another problem. The minig Yisrael Rabbi say is you have to do it in front of Asara. And when you do Asara, that's why it says you should do it by Kriyas HaTorah, because there's always Asara. And when do you always have a minyan of Kriyas HaTorah? On Shabbos. He says the minig Yisrael is to go ahead and to make Birchas HaGomel on Shabbos. Now, you cannot bring a korban toida on Shabbos. A korban toida is a korban nedava, not a korban chayva. You can't bring a korban nedava on Shabbos. So why do we make Birchas HaGomel on Shabbos? Toida is not brought on Shabbos. Elamai, what do you see? That this is not a 100% comparison. Yes, it's niskan keneged the korban toida, but it's not mamish the same thing. That's point number two. Balayla and b'Shabbos. And point number three, Rabbi is saying here where we get into the real meat of the matter. The Shulchan Aruch paskins im icher yeshlei tashlum levar kol zman sheyirtzeh. Shulchan Aruch says you can make Birchas HaGomel as long as you want, which we will see Rabbi say that's not necessarily true. That's not how we're knowing anyway. V'nochain shaloi la'acher gimel yomim. You should make Birchas HaGomel l'chadchila. You should make it within 3 days of the incident. whether it was a car accident, whether it was the Chayla Shenisrape, whatever it is, it should be within 3 days. Zok the Mishnah Brura. Because of Achronim, da afilu yitzarch b'shvil zeh levarach shaloi b'sefer Torah kehamini. Zok the Mishnah Brura. What happens if it's more than 3 days away from the next Kriyas HaTorah? Like the Mishnah Brura writes, and he says over here, this accident happened on Monday. It was already after Kriyas HaTorah. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is already the next Kriyas HaTorah, but it's more than 3 days. Says the Mishnah Brura, Afal Pikin al Yachi Yitzim Mishlosha Yomim Kenim Yotza B'Yem Beis La'achar Shekvar Kara Yavarach Basar B'Lei Sefer Torah Val Yamtin Ad Yom Hey. That's how chashuv it is. It's better to do within 3 days, not in front of a Sefer Torah, than to wait for Kriyas HaTorah. Azay Zok the Mishnah Brura. Now, Zok the Sharhat Siyayin, over there on that Mishnah Brura, we call Makam Kol Zeh Rak Lechatchila, U'B'Diyevet Im Ichar Yochel Levarach Afilu Achar Kach. Says the Mishnah Brura himself, that 3 days is not Ma'akev B'Diyevet, it's a Lechatchila. But Zok the Mishnah Brura in the Sharhat Siyayin, Im Ichar Yochel Levarach Afilu Achar Kach. But unfortunately, the Mishnah Brura over here does not tell how much Achar Kach. 5 days, 10 days? What is it? So for that, Rabbi, so we have to go to another Mishnah Brura. That is the Shulchan Aruch Paskins over there in Siman Reish Yutes. That's where Hilchos HaGomel is. Tzarech levarach bracha zu b'fnei asara. Like we mentioned, Rabbi Say, HaGomel must be said in front of 10 people. B'trei umay rabbanan. And at least 2 people have to be Talmidei Chachamim. How do we know that? Dichsiv, vayiromu b'kahal am, u'v'meishav zekenim yalaluhu. So it has to be Yeromu b'kahal am. What's a kahal am? At least 10 people. U'v'meishav zekenim ein zokan amisha kana chachma. Zekenim is 2. So that's why the Chachila HaGomel must be said in front of 10, with 2 people being Talmidei Chachamim. And if you can't get 2 minute chachamim, don't worry about it. But no, the minute you to make after Lefi Sheishim Asara. Now listen to this. The imbirech b'poches mi Asara. You made birchas HaGomel and there was not a minyan. Yesh omrim sheyotza. Those that say Enochinam you're Yotze. V'yesh orim shelo Yotze. Yesh orim that you're not Yotze. That Asara is ma'akev afilu b'diyevet, to the extent that you're not Yotze. And in fact, Rabbi say it's the machlekes between the machzis hashechel and kiveger, whether if you made in shloim b'snei Asara, whether it's a brachal of atala or not. And therefore, the Shulchan Aruch says over here that if you did make in front of Asara, then you should make it again when you get Asara, but you shouldn't. But you if you are making it again, do not say b'shemu malchus. Just say Baruch Atah HaGomel Chasadim HaGomel Chayim Tov Shegmali Kol Tov, because maybe you were Yotze. So here, Rabbi, so we have a very, very important machlekes in Shulchan Aruch, 2 days. Yesh omrim yotza, yesh omrim shelo yotza, if you don't have 10. So, Zok the Mishnah Brura, what is the pshat in the Manda Omar that says yesh omrim sheyotza? Zok the Mishnah Brura, dechol ikir asara eno elo lemitzvah. It's having 10 people is a lachachil mitzvah. Ulefi zeh im yedeya shlo yizdam le asara yivarach b'loy asara. And therefore, according to this opinion, remember this opinion, if you do not think you're going to get a minyan, you should make birchas HaGomel afilu shaloi b'asara. And therefore, Rabbi say, our corona person, according to this opinion, he knows he's not going to get a minyan, he should make shloi ba'asara. Va'ayin behilchas hara'ah shekasav the yamtin ad shloishim yoyim pen yizdamen le'asara sheyuchel l'kayim hamitzvah kilchasa v'yoyser lo yamtin. So here we have it, Rabbi Isai. The outside limit as to when you can make birchas hagayma. Zokta Mishnah Berurah in the name of the Ra'ah Rabbeinu Aaron Alevi, you have until 30 days. But after that, lo yamtin. So if you know you're going to get a minyan within 30 days, okay, then you should wait. But not more than 30 days. And therefore, Rabbi Isai, our Corona guy, I don't know when this happened, but we don't know when we're going to have a minyan anymore. So you can wait up to 30 days, but after that, you should make it shaloi basara according to this opinion. Remember, yesher min yotza, yesher min shaloi yotza. Now, the Sefer Piskei Tshuvas, Rabbi Isai, which you're familiar with, as I quote it all the time, right, says, you have 2 days in Shulchan Aruch. Yesher min yotza, yesher min lo yotza. Zokti Piskei Tshuvas kosvu achronim. Omnam gam bozeh ein haminig kein la'olam ein mevorchen birchas hagaymal kishe'ein sham asara. The Piskei Tshuvas brings down and he says the minig Yisrael is not to make birchas hagaymal if you don't have 10. V'im yedei shall yizamen lo asara. So I'm not going to get a minyan. What should I do? So according to this day, which the Piskei Teshuvah tells us is in fact how we're noyeh, you know what you should do? You should say, Brich Rachmana Malka Dahai Alma Hagoyma Lachayam Toiv Shekamalani Kol Toiv. So for those of us who learn Masechta Brachas, this is like more Brich Rachmana Mora Dahai Pita, etc. But you shouldn't make the bracha Shaloi Basar according to this opinion. So, and the other thing we learn from this is the outside limit of when you can make Birchas HaGomel is 30 days. Now, so Rabbi said that is example number 3 of how Korban Toida is not like Korban Birchas is not like Korban Toida. Because by Korban Toida, Rabbi say there is no limit as to when you can bring the Korban. And in fact, Rabbi said this is assuming on my part, you have to bring the Korban Toida to Yerushalayim. People lived all over Eretz Yisrael. Yidon Vad Beersheva. So I assume that Bisman Shebeis Hamidrash Hayakayim, when people travel was difficult, and people weren't running every month to get Donishtig to Yerushalayim, but they knew that they were going to go 3 times. They were going to go Oila L'Regel 3 times a year. So I assume that people figure, well, listen, I have to go up to Yerushalayim for Sukkot. It's now a Shavuos time, or after in the winter, we're not going to go up till Pesach. So people brought their korbanos when they came there. So I assume that Huadin, the Korban Toida, I wait till I go to Yerushalayim. So there is no time limit. Mashek in Birchas HaGomel, Rabbi Isai, we learned that the time limit is Shloshim Yom. And I assume that the svara behind that, Rabbi Isai, is that when you bring a Korban Toida and you do a Maisa Mamashi, you do a physical act, so that you can do for even past 30 days. But Birchas HaGomel, Rabbi Isai, is a davar hergeshi. It's an emotional thing. I feel this. I need to thank Rebbeinu Shalom. Emotions dissipate as we dissipate. Therefore, for 30 days, okay, you still feel. 6 months later, after the accident or after the operation, person doesn't feel the same. So that, Rabbi Isai, is a third thing in which it's not like, or fourth thing which is not like korban taita. Which brings us back, Rabbi Isai, to our Shaila, the corona victim who wants to bench Hagaimal, but he doesn't have a minion, nor does he anticipate having a minion within the next 30 days. Can he bench Birchas Hagaimal, B'Shem Malchus, Al Yidei, having 10 people, Al Yidei Zoom? Rabbi Isai, I am open to hear what you guys have to say.
Yes.
Who's yes? Mr. Mifsad.
Yes.
Okay.
Because as long as they're responding to him at that time, which he said it, that's all that matters. Meaning, if I say a bracha over the phone, a stam bracha over the phone, you can say amen because, or if let's say, even if you're like tuning into, even if there's a minion that's actually physically there and you're listening over the phone, you can answer amen Heish Rabba because you're answering at the time that they're saying the Heish Rabba.
You can't have a minion.
Is that true?
Mr. Tabul,
Yes, Rabbi.
what are your opinion?
I mean, I would say I mean, I'm not commenting on the Gomel, but on what Rafal said, I don't think you can answer a main over the phone.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Okay, but
I think
what he should do is bench Gomel without a bracha, just in case, if he can get 10 people on a Zoom, and call it a day for now. And then when quarantine ends and we can make a minion, maybe then make it with the bracha b'shem Hashem.
So he's not matzah to make b'shem Hashem. Anybody else?
As long as you say that it's a Hira Shah, then l'chayr it should be the same as the Rav who came home. We understand that this isn't the way we normally do it. However, since we can't do it the way we normally do it, and there are a lot of people here, maybe he has to wait 30 days to see if he can find a minion. But if not, I don't see a reason why you can't do it over Zoom.
So the only thing that I want to comment on your ha'ara is that this is different than the Hira Shah, because that was just a question of at night. And that was just a question not in front of Sefer Torah. Those things aren't ma'akev, at least to most people. But here you have a day in Shulchan Aruch that says if you don't have 10, and it would be a bracha of Atala.
The
Moshe Lerner.
the Vada Rabbanim of Baltimore before Pesach, they said since you can't tevel kalim, you can make a bezdin over Zoom to be mafker your kalim. As it's b'diavad, but they said you use Zoom to be a bezdin to mafker kalim, so it should be the same.
Okay, that's a good point. We'll get to that.
Also, one thing I want to add is that Gomel is not like Kaddish, where you actually need like 10 people there to say it, as opposed to Gomel, which the only reason why you need the 10 people is to be mefarseim it. So here you're being mefarseim it. It's just not a person.
That's a good point. So Rabbi Isai, let's hear what Rabbi Asher Weiss, how he answers his shaila. He says, the efshar de mahani mashasar b'nei adam mishtatfini moi b'brocha zu me'echad adrochim shabahem roim v'shem zeh. He's willing to say that you can make a birchas hagomel al yidei Zoom b'shem u'malchus. And he writes and he says, and this is important, af shekvar pisamti as hanir poshet dein asor mitzarf l'dover shebekdusha. That when it comes to Dover Shebekdusha, there's no such thing as a Zoom minion to say Kaddish, say Kedusha, Kriyas HaTorah. Why? Ela kasher heim roim v'shem zeh loifen bil temtzai v'lo mahani b'seh lo yishmiya derech telephone v'lo derech tuchunat machashev. When it comes to Dover Shebekdusha, eno elo ba'asora, telephone doesn't help, Zoom doesn't help. Maybe. This is a whole tumult which we've spoken about. I don't know if you heard that share about porch minyanim, etc. Whether that helps, they see each other. But Zoom, either telephone or Zoom, that's the Dover Shebekdusha. You cannot do that. Zocht mikoma kon efshar the shayne nidi didan the way havi Dover Shebekdusha. Because Birchas Hagomel Rabbi is not a Dover Shebekdusha. Why is it that we need 10 people? Because of the pasuk, v'yiromu b'kolam. Because when you bench hagomel, you want to do it in public. You want to show your akaras hatayv. That's not davar shebekdusha. If that's the case, lahakadosh baruch hu barabim ichsiv roimim mishmo yachtav ve'efshel bekaf sagi kevin she'achein asar roimim mishaymin es birchasei. That's my speak. 10 people see you, 10 people hear you. That's a rabim. You're doing it bifnei am. That's sufficient. And in fact, what Moshe Lerner was saying before about Tfilas Kalim, and the Rabbana of Baltimore also said this Lagabi Siyah Tainus Bechor and Siyah Mesechta, that to participate in the Sudas Mitzvah, in the Siyah Mesechta, they Zoom is all right. Again, that's not a Davar Shebikdusha. And when it comes to being Mafker Kalim, the reason that you need to have to be mafker b'shleisha is because it has to be serious. I just went ahead and it was mafker my microwave oven, or I was mafker my set of new dishes. So if you do it between you and yourself, that's not a hefker. Who knows if a hefker means that people would take it? So therefore, as long as 3 people know about it and they could come to you and take it from you and you couldn't object, that's sufficient. So memela, that over here, Birkas HaGomel, you don't need Asora as a Davar Shebikdusha. You just need, in order to publicize it. And therefore, he says at the end that even though normally he's very makbid on the Minhagei Yisrael, that you should do it the way they used to do it. Meaning, and this Rabbi say, not everybody agrees, and the Reshivas Zatzal Revuderman didn't agree with this. He holds, for instance, you should not bench Shabbos lich on an electric light. Now, the truth of the matter is, I heard from the Reshiva Zatzal that if you're stuck somewhere, you can turn on a light before Shabbos, and that's your nearest Shabbos. So, Avada, all things being equal, you should go ahead and you should use candles. It says, even though normally I'm very makbid in that it should be done like the way it's supposed to be done. Become a calm, and this is what Yehuda Bresher is saying. This is a shtichol shas adchak. Kevin de bepashtes kavanas hamishna brura dim yavu shtayshim yom yivorchach biyochid near lamaisa the choloi yeshav shoris yuchal levar kame asar l'znei sheyavu shtayshim yom. So avadi, you should do it, which means he's saying like this. Remember, Reb Asher Weiss, as opposed to the Piskei Teshuvos, holds that we do hold like that first Mandomar in Shulchan Aruch, that b'diavad your yotza ashilu shloi b'asar. So truth be told, Nemes is, you could say the shloi b'asar. So now that I'm saying how they zoom, so matayvu manoyim, what do you lose? So, because truth be told, according to him at least, I could have said it b'yochid. Now, as I said, the Piskei Teshuvos doesn't hold like that. But if you do hold like that, you want to mitzvah of that shita, and plus the fact that you're doing it on a Zoom, so therefore he went ahead and he said that Inyanim, that you should be able to bench Birkas HaGomel on a Zoom, and it's called Basari, you could bench even b'Shem Malchus. So there, Rabbi said that's really it for the shir. So are there any questions?
Yeah, Rabbi.
Yes.
When Professor Weiss said coronavirus, does that mean any person who has coronavirus, or somebody who's like more susceptible to it? Like, for example, it would be more dangerous for an older person, but not a younger person.
No,
does that mean
totally in a person that got it and was sick?
Right. So, but I'm saying, does that mean if the person was older and he got it sick, or even if he was younger, meaning it's not as dangerous?
That if a person had coronavirus, he had a bad case of coronavirus, no matter what age he is, you make hagomel. In other words, older people are more susceptible to it, and they're
a younger person. Yeah,
they're much bigger sakana. But there are people who are in their 40s who have died from corona.
Right.
My son, as in Lakewood, knows people. Someone who was in 40 something years old. He died. I mean, there was I saw another thing. A some woman on a Navajo reservation, 26 years old. She died from corona.
Right, but so
Yeah.
so if that person, if let's say he was a younger person, he didn't have it as bad, so he wouldn't necessarily make it, right?
That's correct.
Right.
I know somebody else who, they had a headache, they had a cough, a little tired. So that wasn't a sakana. But a person had a gesunte case of corona, enochinami. I mean, I have a chaver, little younger than me, but my age group. Anyway, he had a terrible case of corona. The doctors told his family he's not going to make it. He was on a ventilator for 10 days. I learned together with this guy in yeshiva, big Talmud Chacham, choshev a person. But this guy was unique in one thing. He was strong as an ox. I mean, this guy was a gesunte guy. I called him after he got better, and I talked to him. He says, I cannot tell you how weak I was. I was so weak that I could not push a button. Apparently he had some kind of device that vacuumed his throat, his upper respiratory thing. You have to push a button. He couldn't push a button. He could not walk Dalet Amas. So this thing, even if Baruch Hashem, it didn't kill him, but boy, did it knock him for a loop. And that can happen to anybody. Now, there are many people that have corona that it was a mild case. Some people that have it, they don't even know they have it. But if you are gesund and sick, then enochinami, you have to bench hagayim.
And does that apply for any of the other?
I got kicked out of the meeting.
Salim, what do you say?
Yeah. Meaning, so does that by the other 4 cases as well? So does that mean only if it's a dangerous overseas trip or all overseas trips?
No. So Yorda Hayom, by its very nature, is dangerous.
So all of these 4 things that we said was also meaning if something happens, but it's not as dangerous, even if it's one of those 4 categories, wouldn't necessarily. Right. Okay. Fine. Thank you.
Yes, you're clear. Have a good day.
Okay. Okay, Rabbi.
I got